I can stack them hundreds to the roof. I ain't stopping till they stack to the moon. Without me, my family wouldn't have food. Anybody go against me gotta lose.
What is up, guys? You're listening to the MFCEO Project. I'm Andy. I'm your host, and I am the motherfucking CEO. Guys, if this is your first time listening, welcome to reality. You're going to hear shit here that you will not hear anywhere else. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck what you guys think. That's the truth. My job here is not to be your friend. My job here is not to be your buddy. My job here is not to make you feel good. My job is to give you the tools that you need to be successful in reality, and your reality can be made up of a million different things. Financially, personally, relationships, whatever it is, fitness. The principles of success are universal, and that's what we talk about here. Yes, we will talk about things that might not sound like we're talking about entrepreneurship, but we are. And we also might talk about things that sound like we're talking about entrepreneurship, but we could be talking about other things as well. My job is to give you the info. Your job is to figure out how the fuck you can use it. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, DJ God.
Your job is also getting people to send me clown and eggplant emojis, which is what I've been getting the last couple days.
I'm waiting for someone to send you a life-size Ronald McDonald.
and a
the
grimace.
First person that does that
and a grimace
is going to get something.
You know somebody's going to do
that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming before I even said that. Don't really send that because I already know there's some in the mail. So there's people way ahead of the game.
Actually, it would be pretty creative.
Oh,
it would be creative.
You just jumped my fucking introduction. I was going to give you this really cool introduction. Now, I'll just tell you, my shithead little brother is on the podcast here. What's up?
Salvador.
Can I welcome myself?
Welcome yourself.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, if you don't know, and you should, Sal is my brother. He's also the president of First Form. He runs day-to-day operations for the company, literally does every single thing that needs to be done. He also happens to be a better public speaker than 99.99% of the people that I fucking get paid to speak with.
Fact.
Vaughn, how'd I do this morning?
You did well.
Is that a fact or not? Because you sit in on his things.
It's very true.
It's a fact.
Yeah. And what I like about the two of you guys is that you're both good, but you both have distinctly different styles. You're not trying to be clones. I mean, the reality is
real,
sometimes
sometimes
little brothers want to be clones.
Everybody out there's trying to be me a little bit.
A little bit. Maybe.
You know why? It's because I'm so good looking.
That must be it.
Again, something I beat him at.
All right.
That was your line today. Now he's stealing it, Sal.
What's that? I mean, good looking? I do got better calves, though.
I don't know about that either. My calf game's strong, man. I post a picture of anything that has anything to do with my calves, and everybody's like, dude, how do I get calves like that?
I know.
It's proof that everybody's like, oh, genetics don't matter. I don't train calves.
Dude, you know what's funny? Is I always tell them, because I get the same shit, your calves are better than mine, let's be honest. It's the only thing better. Yeah. But I'm
waiting. I'm waiting for you to go a little further up the body. And
you know what? That's not for neither of us to discuss. That's for the people to decide. But dude, here's the thing. Dude, my dad, what is that? 73?
73.
73 years old. I got better calves than both of us.
He does.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Vaughn, you checking him out too?
I do. Yeah.
Dude,
it's kind of hard not to check him out. He wears shorts when it's 12 degrees.
It's true.
You know that's why he wears fucking shorts all the time.
To check out my calves.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
Yeah, if you're 73 and you got calves like that, you've been doing some serious leg work your whole life.
He's got better calves than all these bodybuilder dudes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's my point, is like genetics play a role.
Right.
In that game. Somebody, you'll see a guy eating McDonald's, he's like, oh, and then he goes out and tells everybody, you got to watch what you eat.
That is the most annoying thing to me. What's most, look, just admit what the fuck you got. Like, hey, I got great metabolism.
There's nothing better. This actually plays into the role. Like, just be honest.
Yeah. Hey, I have a great metabolism. I can get away with shit that you can't.
Right.
Like that, not me, obviously, but like I'm saying, like, don't try to trick people into thinking that you're working 10 times harder because you genetically are a lean person. Like, that's the most annoying thing to me, because as a professional in the fitness industry, I can literally look at someone's body and tell what it is about them that makes them them. So like when someone grew, like you can too. Like I could tell if someone grew up fat or if they grew up skinny. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And like, dude, these dudes who went out there and gained 30 pounds of muscle and then pretend like they diet hard all the time to look the way they look. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
You mean you started doing cardio?
Yeah.
I was talking to one of our athletes.
I didn't eat chicken nuggets today.
Yeah. I was talking to one of our athletes, and she's a top tier, very top tier competitor. And we started talking about her prep for the Olympia. And she's like, oh, man, I got to start doing cardio. Mind you, I work out every single day.
She told me that at the gym, too, dude. She was like,
I got to walk for 20 minutes. I'm like, walk for 20 minutes? Shit, I'm training for an hour. I'm cardio for an hour.
I'm eating 2,200 calories a day. I go, that's what I eat.
Yeah, me too. She's 135 pounds, you know?
Right.
Whatever. Anyway.
But at least she admits, like, hey, listen, I got good genes.
Dude.
And she's got great genes.
Yeah. Look, by the way, we're not making excuses. Like, we can all look great.
Maybe a little bit.
No, look, we can all look great, but it just might take a little more work for you or someone else to do certain things that other people can't.
I say this all the time. I say, you know what? I'd ride around with my son on the lawnmower, you know, and you sit there and you talk to yourself. It's the only time I have conversation. Well, I talk to myself all the time. Let's be real. But anyway, I always thought, like, man, when I die, I'm gonna go to heaven. First question I'm asking God is, dude, how come I got the fat gene? And
I know why.
Yeah, well,
I know why.
So the reason now I've come to the conclusion that the reason I do have it is because he's given me this opportunity to go out and help people change their lives.
That's right.
I have to go through that struggle.
That's right.
And so when I can look at people in the eyeballs, I can speak to their soul because I understand, like, hey,
I know what it's like.
1 through 10.
Right.
And I know what it's like to go 1 through 10 and then back to 1. And then back to 10. And then back to 1. And it sucks, but it's a process. It's who I am, and it's given me a great opportunity to be able to speak to people and have and share that journey.
I would much rather have that than to be someone who didn't have to fucking work that hard.
That's why my skin's this thick.
Yeah.
Because I've had that struggle is real, man. Like
people are like, oh, I wouldn't trade for anything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's made me so much more resilient in life as in its entirety. So it allows me to really, when people go through struggle, I can instantly relate to my physical struggle, which is just happens to do what we do for a living. But no matter what that is, that journey is very, very similar. You know, you got to identify the problem. You got to address the problem. You got to realize you got it, right? Then you got to take action to combat it. And then you got to constantly fucking stay on top of it. If not, it'll eat you alive. And then if you don't attack it, then it becomes this, well, I'm just this way. And then that's what it's infiltrated society now. You know, I'm just that way. I'm just fat.
Oh, God. Dude, come back on Thursday so we can talk about body positivity and fucking all that shit. Anyway, you're probably wondering why we have Sal here. And it isn't just to talk about sexy calves like we both have. It is to actually talk about what the future is of social media, okay? All of you guys right now are on social, and if you aren't, I would be very surprised because that's where I do most of my connecting, and we are connected right now. So one of the biggest things that we see in our business, in our real everyday business, and that I get asked when I go speak at all these events and do all these things is, how do I develop a brand on social media? Where is it going? How do I do this? And what we see more and more is people trying to copy what other people who have big followings do. And that's a flawed idea and a flawed tactic. And we're going to get into why that is flawed. We're going to go through the A to Z, everything on how to become an effective social media influencer. And by the way, an effective in-person influencer. All right? Influence, if you have any brain cells at all, is going to equate to dollars made. All right? Now, there's a lot of people on social media that are just there to enjoy. They're just there to share pictures of their dog or their kids. That's awesome. Okay? But that's not what today's podcast is about. Today's podcast is about how to be effective in building a personal brand via social media platforms that we have available for free to us that can make us money. Okay, we're going to talk about how things have been, how things are, and how things are going to be moving forward. And if you are going to take notes on any podcast that we have ever done, this is going to be one that you need to take notes on. So if you're listening in the car and you're driving around, that's cool. Listen, but come back and listen again because we're going to go through step by step how to do this. Now, before we get started, I want everybody to understand one thing. Social media is not done. Social media is not a fad. Social media is not a something that you're late to the game on. All right. A lot of people use that as an excuse. Like, I don't want to really get, these people already have it all cornered and this and that. No. It's just begun. It's going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger part of how people earn their income as we move forward through the years. It's already happening. You're seeing large companies no longer require a degree from a college, and instead they're looking at people's social media profiles to attach value to them. If you're an influencer in electronics and you have 1 million people who are interested in the quality of sound that you're influencing on, you're the tip of the spear when it comes to reviewing headphones or reviewing audio systems. Guess who is extremely valuable to that brand? By the way, guess who doesn't even need to go to the brand because you created so much value? But the point is our income is going to become more and more aligned with how our social media is basically executed. And are we a person of true influence? And let me explain something to you guys. Real influence is not fucking followers. It's not the 1 million followers or the 1.2 million followers that I have or the 20 million followers someone else had or the 10 followers that someone else might have. Real influence is targeted influence. What does that mean? Well, that means this. When a girl posts a picture in 2013 of her ass or her boobs or these sexy pics, they get 10,000 likes and their page grows 100,000 every week and they end up with 10 million followers. Well, guess what? That same shit ain't going to work for the next 4 years for a number of reasons. One, people got to understand that engaged following does not even mean comments. Like if you ask most people what engaged following means, it means the number of comments. It is not the number of comments. It is the number of focused comments. All right? And influencers, you need to be listening to this and fucking understand it. Because if you post a picture and 99% of the comments are, baby, you're so hot. Oh, you're so beautiful. Heart emojis, this emoji, that emoji. You've been able to get paid on that because companies don't know any better. Companies are now getting smart and they understand that if all you're getting is horny dudes, okay, there's no market to fucking market the product that you whatever it is. So that means your value is going to decrease. Has it worked in the past? Yes. Have you gotten paid in the past? Yes. But you know what the most fucking damaging thing you can do when running any business is to think like this. What we've always done is worked, and we can continue to do that. It's what we've always done. It's always worked. That's changing. And if you don't change, you are going to be out of a paycheck. That is a fact. Now, I happen to know a lot of social media influencers. In fact, most of the big ones I know very well. This is a very hard concept for them to understand, but it's equally as important for you to understand it who has 0 followers because it hasn't caught on yet and it's going to catch on. So building an engaged following that is worth monetizing has less to do with the amount of likes and the amount of comments and more to do with who's liking and who's commenting. Okay? So that's the first thing you have to understand. Back in 2012, 13, 14, there was no fucking algorithm. Every time you posted, everybody saw your shit. You could grow a lot faster. Today's 100,000 follower Instagram count that's targeted towards, let's say, photography, and let's say we use a good-looking female who happens to also be a photographer, and she makes a post, and everybody talks about her photography, and half the comments are about her being beautiful, and the next half are about her photography. She's far more valuable than the person who has 1 million followers, gets 10 times the amount of comments, but they're all heart eyes emojis. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, so, I mean, let me explain how I understand it, and you tell me if I'm getting it right. So normal comment for a situation like that would be, you hot, baby. But a focus comment would be like, I love what you said about the Canon XLR, blah, blah, blah. What would you think about this situation if you're taking pictures outside. That's a focus
Exactly.
comment. Okay.
And the reason people can't the reason a lot of these people are going to get passed by is because they are addicted to the number of comments and the number of likes versus the quality of comments and the quality of likes. Follow what I'm saying?
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Well, and I think, those people were first to market.
That's exactly right.
And it's not always
It's evolving.
First to market usually gets beat, right?
Well, yeah.
Big picture.
Yeah. And
First
I
to
can
market
tell
has its place and it has its play, and you can make a lot of money doing it. However, if you don't evolve being first to market, you will get beat by somebody who has a better game plan. And so what happened in the early days of social, when we saw this, because we were nobody in the early schemes. You go back to my first post on Instagram, it got like 18 likes, just like somebody who's a newbie. And you start watching it. Back then, shout-out pages were big, and these girls were all running the shout-out page. Even the guys doing their cross shout-out page.
Dudes are no different than girls.
No, of course. Yeah,
they get addicted to the fucking, I post a shirtless selfie, or I post a picture of my car, or I post this or that, and it gets a lot of likes. So I don't want to post something that doesn't get a lot of likes and a lot of comments. So what happens is they get addicted to the comments and likes, and they're afraid to make any change because they're afraid that it's going to affect their quote unquote what they think is engagement. And then what they do is they don't build any brand, they don't build any connection, and they're going to get passed up. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is we're in a situation right now where people who have been successful will not continue to be successful because they're not adapting. And the only and dude, we're like 2 or 3 years away from this coming full circle, by the way, because what's going to happen right now is big brands who don't know any better, the Budweisers and the fucking, Fords and these big companies that are massive are going to continue to pay these social influencers. So they're going to get more pay right now. Okay? But what's going to happen is those companies are going to wisen up like the smaller companies have, and they're going to go to micro influencers who have focus. They're under 1 million followers. They have focused following. They have focused, engaged content because there's an actual return on those people versus just getting some eyeballs on your brand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So very rarely is this ever the case, but I'm wondering as I hear you talk if this is one of those cases where, for multiple reasons, why the person who's just starting out actually has it better than someone who's been in it for a long time, like you said, the early adopters. But it seems like for this reason is that the person who only has like 200 or 300 followers or maybe 1,000 followers, if they do the things that you're talking about, they're going to have a much higher percentage of engagement than you would. I mean, it's impossible for you to have the level of engagement with 1 million followers that somebody who's just starting out. So I guess what I'm saying is that you're almost at an advantage from the standpoint of you're going to be able to go much deeper with your following,
right?
Because you have lower number of people,
that's right?
And you're able to solidify those relationships
right.
in a really powerful way.
The main thing I'm trying to stress here is to understand where we've been,
yeah,
where we are, and where we're going.
Right.
Okay, and that's kind of why I'm trying to communicate this story. Just because it's worked in the past does not mean it's going to continue to work, and it isn't.
Right.
Okay? People will argue this, but all the people who argue this have interests in it staying the same.
Right. They have the early skin.
Right, exactly. They'd say, oh, dude, that's never going to happen or this or that. Just wait. Just wait.
Well,
write this shit down because I'm telling you right now, if you don't adapt, you're going to fucking lose your paycheck. You're going to lose your payroll, and you're not going to become influential. Pouring the gas on something just because it worked a little bit one time does not necessarily mean that it's right. For example, posting a picture of your shirtless abs or this or that, or your fucking ass, this, that. People are tired of that shit, okay? They're tired of it. And unless, and this is a big asterisk, unless you're offering information of value to go along with it. Now, if you pay attention to people who are really successful and profitable influencers, and I know a bunch of them because we employ them, we have people who have less than 100,000 that make fucking 10 times the money that some of these people who have 10 million make. All right? Now, if you try to explain that to a 10 million follower, they think you're lying, but it's true.
I could explain it through equation.
I fucking pay the checks. I can tell. So before you sit there and say, oh, you're just saying that, no, I'm not. I pay the checks. I see what's working, what's not working. All right. I employ some big influencers and I employ some fucking little ones. And I can tell you right now, the value is in. And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't want people to miss the boat and think they're out of the game.
Yeah, they need to jump in.
That's right.
Right.
And I don't want the big people to get passed up because they're not evolving. Because I know these people personally, not even the ones just with our company, but I know all of them. And most of them are the ones on our team are great people. Most of the other ones I met are great people too. They're just trying to make a living just like you or I or anybody else would be. And they're saying, okay, well, this has worked. But it's not going to always work that way.
Well, I mean, you got to, in fairness to them, it's their business. They're making money right now, probably, more money than they've ever made.
That's right.
They're advertising on radio. And the TV rep comes in and says, hey, you should try TV. And at that transition period in life, the guy's like, no, I mean, I'm making all this money on radio. Like, why the hell would I change that?
That's right.
And in the meantime, TV's going to start, they're going to capture it, right? And TV, if you don't adapt, turns into Google, internet ads, Facebook runs. So these guys who aren't adapting and constantly evolving are going to get beat.
Hey. We both know someone pretty fucking well who lost $100 million company because they didn't adapt
to the internet.
Yeah.
So I mean, to think arrogantly enough that it's not changing and the old way is always going to work. I mean, I have 9,000 of these people I could tell you differently. And so when you look at, what creates value or interest is, you got to educate people. You got to give them something of value. We use a system here, and I mean, I'll give it to you because it's that hard to duplicate on a day-to-day basis. I know how hard it is. It's just 1, 2, 3. It's educate, trust, loyalty, and that creates this very, very engaged following. You have to educate people on things that they want to know about for free. You have to educate. Everybody wants to sell everything, and that's where they also lose value. They want to sell every single thing they do. You can't do that. You got to educate. You got to teach people. People are inherently loyal over time to people who bring value to their life, especially when you're doing it for free. You're helping their lives for free. And so when you educate these people, after you educate them a few times and they go out and practice whatever it is that you're preaching and you're being honest and genuine and driving great influential interaction with them, they start to gain trust. And once they start to gain trust, they start to believe every single thing that comes through your page. And they start to, whatever jeans you wear, you don't have to make money on it, whatever shoes you're wearing, what type of phone do you like, be genuine with them. And over time, it becomes loyal.
It is a shift. It's a paradigm shift in how you think about yourself.
Of course.
Okay? Because you have a blue check mark next to your name does not mean you're fucking influential, and it sure as fuck doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else.
Right.
Okay? So it's taking the idea of I'm up here, and I'm holding my hands up in the air, and you're down here, and instead shifting that fucking paradigm to where I'm just like you, okay? And if you cannot connect with your fucking fan base of being genuine, authentic, who you are, you're going to lose long term. Because with the addition of Instagram stories, all that does, which we have for a number of years now, all that does is create more of a chance for you to show authenticity, all right? People are not looking for you to always post your most glamorous shit. And a lot of you people who think you're very good looking think that that's all people want from you. That's not what they want. They want to know, yes, you're good looking. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you're ripped. Yes, you're a stud. But I also want to know what makes you that way. Why are you that way? What do you do during the day? How do you operate? Where do you go? What's your days like?
More importantly,
what do you struggle with? Okay?
Sharing the struggle is the most powerful tool.
Dude, vulnerability is the key to winning on social media.
That's like my story yesterday.
I don't remember it.
The shit story.
Oh, yeah. It was fucking hilarious.
I literally had 150 DMs off of it yesterday.
But, dude, when I talk about vulnerability, people take that the wrong way sometimes. They think that they've always got to create this fucking sob story. And, like, dude, those people get annoying as well.
Of course.
Like, dude, shut the fuck up and quit whining about every fucking post. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of hearing it. You got to find the truth, okay? And the truth is that's people who are overly vulnerable, even though value is in the vulnerability, it's a dichotomy, just like Jocko says.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? If you're overly vulnerable, you become a whiny bitch. If you're not vulnerable, you seem like you're an elitist. You got to...
Or you're fake.
Yeah, and how do you get around that? It's really simple. You tell the fucking truth.
Be real.
Okay? Today is a shitty day because I just got fucking canned off my modeling job and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm going to step the fuck up and I'm going to get another one.
Time to go back to hit the pavement.
Right.
I think purpose is a huge thing. It's like if you're sharing vulnerability for sympathy, that's a non-starter. But if you're sharing vulnerability to then move toward that to provide a solution to people, that's what provides value.
Truth. The thing is, dude, it's truth. It's what's the truth. Because the truth is you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Mm-hmm. The truth is,
everybody.
The truth is, you're not a fucking, you're, guess what? I don't care how beautiful you are. You're going to look ugly sometimes.
You get zits too.
You can show that shit. You know, I don't care how jacked you are and how tan you are and how fucking much you do the gym tan laundry. I don't give a fuck if I don't know that you're also real and struggle with eating meals and workouts and this and that, right? People only identify with people who are real. And the only thing that's going to become how you create a focused, engaged following is by sharing how you're able to do what it is that you do. Meaning, if you're this beautiful blonde bombshell model, guess what? People don't know that you have to be on a diet 24/7. People don't know that you have to work out. People don't know that you have to be a waitress half the time. People don't know all this shit, and people are afraid to show it because they think it's going to discredit what they have. But the truth is your value isn't worth much 2 years from now anyway if you keep going the way that you're going. So you have to understand first and foremost, one, you need a focused, engaged following, not just a lot of comments, not just a lot of likes. Two, you have to be willing to share the truth. Okay, those two things. And people are like, well, how do I do this? We're going to get to that. We're going to get into the micros of what to do and what not to do here in a minute. But the concept is what's important. The reason that our some of our influencers who have less than 100,000 can fucking make 10 times the money that some of these people that have millions of followers is because they're able to show people what is possible. And what is possible is the only product that we ever sell. It's called hope. There's only a couple things that are sold worldwide. One is convenience, all right, time. One is attention, and one is hope. If you're not selling convenience, if you're not selling time, if you're not selling attention, and you're not selling hope, you ain't selling shit. All right? Now, this is why it's important dude, I always tell people this. Never copy another business model because what you see on the outside, like, for example, what you see First Form doing on the outside, everybody else is trying to copy. But what they don't realize is that what they're seeing on the outside was stuff that we put into play 2 years ago that took that much time to materialize.
Or 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And just because we're doing X now, that's a 4-year-old idea, okay? And what we're working on behind the scenes is 4 years from now. You just can't see it. So by copying what someone else is doing, you're automatically putting yourself behind the curve. All right? So what I'm giving you here is the way to never be behind the curve again, ever. Ever, 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 ever. If you have 10 followers and you want to become a social media influencer, I'm going to tell you right now, if you think getting to 5 million followers and getting to thousands of comments with heart eye emojis by just being naked on the internet, that is not a win. You're going to lose. You're going to get passed by. Number one, the algorithm's going to stop it. Number two, people are tired of just that shit. Number three, people want real. They want to be connected. And so somebody who has zero, the new major influencers are going to be the ones that are fucking 100,000 to 1 million followers that have focused fucking content.
Fuck, give me 50 to 100.
I'd rather have that than anything else.
All day long.
Yeah. And that's what smart progressive companies are doing that. People who don't know are still going for the fucking blah, blah, blah. Now, like the big names and the big this, that. Now, I will say this, because I know there's going to be fuckers that fucking probably DM me. Well, why do you have all those influencers? Well, first of all, they're real customers, and they were before they were influencers. Second of all, they're my friends, and I like them. They're good people. Third of all, they have tremendous potential, and they all have substance. So I believe in them, and they are going to send the right message. They are going to get better, and they are going to improve. Now, with that being said, there's a reason I don't add other influencers. You haven't seen me add a massive influencer in the last fucking 2.5 years. You know why? Because they're not real fucking customers. They're not people that I fucking know. I don't want people representing our brand like that. That's another thing. If you own a brand and you're fucking putting people in place that aren't actually supporters of your brand, it's going to show. It's not just about eyeballs. It's about what eyeballs, right? How many fucking dudes are buying fucking protein powder off of a chick when the comments are like, hey, baby, I want to suck your toes. Or a literal comment I saw the other day, which was, hey, I can't wait to suck your milk bags. Like, first of all, dudes, get the fuck out of here. Like, are you really, like who the fuck comments shit like
I should
that?
come back with, coming at you live from my mom's basement.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
Like, how often have they been successful with that remark?
Well,
I mean,
I don't think the goal is to be successful.
Yeah.
I just think
I have to say this, though, dude. This is so much a part of your DNA, and it's so much a part of your DNA, Sal, and the DNA of First Form that I think I don't want it to go unnoticed, but the whole presupposition to all of this is that you actually care about people.
That's right. And dude,
You actually have integrity. You want to do the right thing. You want to care about people.
dude, look, man, I'm going to tell you right now, doesn't matter if you have 10 followers, doesn't matter if you have 10 trillion followers. What really matters going forward is that you connect with people. And we have an amazing tool for free called Instagram, an amazing tool for free called Facebook, an amazing tool for free called YouTube, and about 30 other amazing tools that you can utilize to connect. But that's the problem. Connecting takes work. Connecting takes courage. Connecting takes commitment. And a lot of people don't want to do that, especially people that are naturally in a position to get a lot of likes because of the way they look or whatever it is they have, their cars or
Well,
their
and there's a
houses
piece.
or whatever.
There's a piece to it that's addicting to them, right? I mean, they get addicted.
Right.
They're like chasers. That's the whole.
No, that's everybody. Everybody likes that. Like, dude, when you look at a picture of a group picture, you go on vacation, you take a group picture with 20 people in it. Which one are you looking at? You're looking at yourself. That's what we all look at. And anybody that says different is full of shit.
liars.
Right. So it's a natural thing for us to like that. We're like, oh yeah, dude, I made this post. Like somebody at one of my friends was like, she was saying, oh, I made this post. It got tons of engagement. And I made this other post that got 0 engagement. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you considering engagement? Because likes and comments is not real engagement. Real engagement are the comments that actually mean something, that are focused along the lines that you're talking. And people ask me all the time, how have you been able to build this fucking following? How do you all consistently get those kind of comments? Because if you go through my comments, there ain't a motherfucking one of them with a heart eyes emoji, because that ain't what my fucking shit is. But I do have a very engaged following. Thank you guys very much. But the reason why is because I'm committed to being who the fuck I am. And you will never find someone who tells you Andy's a different person on the podcast than he is in real life. I don't know how to be any fucking different. And you know what? That should be a lesson to you guys. You guys have gifts. You guys have gifts. And what's fucking funny is your weaknesses are probably the shit that's going to make people relate to you.
Not probably. I mean, I think your weaknesses are your best asset.
They are, because it makes you a human.
Well, and I think it's part of the thing. I mean, at least I can speak on behalf of myself for my journey and myself personally, because you look at the even the struggles of business or life or anything, you know, it's kind of like your own sounding board. And so when you get comfortable, it's like your confessional. It's like you go talk to Vaughn in this little cube, you know, like don't tell anybody, even though you're telling everybody. There's a coping mechanism that goes through talking and building this support system, but it's because you've been honest and engaging with them that in time they're in your corner. You know, so like everybody talks about haters. Like if you have a true engaged following, you don't get a lot of hate.
Dude, I don't get a lot of hate. I really don't.
People are like, oh, I love my haters. Like, well, fuck, dude. I get every once in a while, I'll get some guy who calls me fat.
Jump in a lake.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest. At that point, like there was a point in time that pissed me off, but he wasn't fucking lying. And you know what? I had to swallow my shit sandwich and move on. I was fucking fat. Guess what? I lost 30 pounds since then. Forced me to get in shape. It was part of the deal.
Yeah, so you're glad it happened.
Yeah, I'm not even, that's not hate. The guy was being honest. So I tell everybody to be honest. And guess what? The guy was honest. I can't be pissed at him for it.
That's right.
Even though I was.
Yeah.
You know what's awesome about that is that the reason that you don't get a lot of hate is because over time you've cultivated this tribe simply by being yourself. But here's another thing that I think is amazing about it is that when somebody does hop on your page and talks trash to you, the reality is that that's literally like you being in a room with a bunch of your friends, like at the bar, and then somebody coming in and talking trash to you. Well, what's going to happen? All the people in the room are going to be like, "What
Get
are you
the fuck out?"
Yeah, this is my boy, and they're going to come to your defense, and you don't even have to say anything.
Dude, when I manage the social for 1P, and dude, when somebody very rarely comments something negative, I have to delete that comment immediately because there will be 20 motherfuckers.
No, and then they'll come back later and be like, dude, your company just bullies people.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Motherfucker, you're the one that came on the page.
Don't talk
This
shit.
is enter at your own risk, motherfucker.
Right.
Don't talk
dude,
no
if you have
shit,
to
won't
delete,
be no
if you have
shit.
to delete your own fucking Instagram because you made a shitty comment on someone's page, that's your own fault.
oh, by the way,
Absolutely.
you now have heart eye emojis on your page. You're welcome.
I'm sure.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, did you put some on there? Oh, thanks, bro.
I was disappointed when I found out that the heart eye emojis could actually mean admiration. I thought it was they had a crush on me, but turns out it's not.
There's a lot of meanings on the old emoji land, i.e. the eggplant.
And the clown and the French fries.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
discussed that last podcast.
Yeah.
Do
Do you remember when you found out about the eggplant?
Yeah, but which fucking end was the correct end? Is it which one is the end where the fucking shit comes out? Is it the fucking green end or the purple end?
This is how the last podcast derailed.
Yeah.
Although people apparently thought it was
is
hilarious.
going. Well, I mean, if you're engaged, if you're worried about social media, this is probably a very important point to hammer down. Like, how do you use the emoji? Is it
I'm
the
saying
green
when you
end
could
or the purple
when you
end?
could spin it around, like if you got to stick it on somebody's mouth, which we've all done, which end do you stick in the mouth?
I guess I say the green.
I
Because
stick
it
the
would-
purple in there.
because it would be.
I must not understand it because everybody else says it's green too.
Well, it looks weird the other way. You
Yeah,
know?
it-
looks almost hammerheadish.
Your girth increases as,
Yeah.
as it goes out.
Yeah, maybe that's just what I'm used to looking at. Just saying.
What's his name?
What? So, dude, but the point is like, look, grasp the concept at 10,000 feet so we can get in the micros. All right, just because it's
Well,
work.
you got to create value. If you're
Real value, though.
Yeah, if your value is
To
just
sell
showing
shit.
skin.
We're talking about selling shit. We're not talking about a million likes. We're not, dude. If that's the value you want to create, you're going to sell calendars, and that's it. You're going to sell subscriptions to your fucking private site. That's it. Okay, it's changing. What people understand of real value is changing. If you have 0 followers, you don't want to get to that kind of following. You want to create a true, authentic following from the beginning, which is sharing your knowledge, which you can entertain, impact, right? Those are the things, or educate, and that's it. Those are the 3 things. So if your post doesn't entertain, if it doesn't impact, if it doesn't educate, it doesn't belong on your fucking page.
Right.
And you got to realize it's going to take some time.
It takes time.
It takes a long time. Like
And Sal, that's why people fucking fail at it, because if they've been doing something a certain way for so long and then they make another post, and they're like, fuck, I only got 10% of the engagement. No, you didn't. You got 10% of the same engagement that you were getting, which is basically worthless anyway.
Correct. Well, and you got to understand, I mean, that's no different than any other business model, right? You got
Right.
some days, like yesterday, I made a post, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Everybody knows it's a horrible time to post. Oh, you're not going to get the best engagement. Oh, you're not lucky. You know what? Is it good content? Post.
Right.
That's right.
Like, I don't know. You know what? I didn't care. Like, I was going to hold it, and I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. Like, I get over the like thing. My job is to create value.
Contribute.
My job is to be a piece of this system because that's what my people
If your
expect of me.
content's good, people are going to fucking like it and
they
comment.
And they find it.
Yeah,
And
that's
they find
right.
it.
Before you jump into the micro strategies, I want to repeat something you've said before. It's so relevant to this, and that is this: is that when you're authentic, one of the really, really great things that happens is you find out who doesn't like you and who wants to just leave your page and never come back.
I
I
love
don't think
that.
people really understand the value of that.
Super valuable.
Of finding out the people that don't like you, don't want anything to do with what you offer. That is incredibly valuable.
Vaughn, I'm glad you brought that point up because I probably would have missed it, but that's as important as the actual following you have. And the reason people can't adjust from doing things the way they were to doing things the way they should be doing it now is because they're afraid of losing people that don't fucking matter to you anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I.e. Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a perfect
He's
example.
the
yeah.
perfect example of, okay, well, I'm going to piss those people off anyway,
Right.
so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to be me.
Right.
And you know what? And what he ended up doing is the people who enjoyed him loved the fuck out of him, and he gained the middle. Everybody gets so worried about being in the middle and not doing this that nobody ends up loving them. They're not fanatic fans. So they're very vanilla, middle of the road. Towards if you take a stance, you can make these people, albeit maybe 40%, but this 40% fucking love you.
And they're valuable.
They're super valuable. They're call to action valuable.
They support you. They'll fucking have your back. They'll buy your shit.
You're never going to get 100%.
Dude, look,
and that's where people go wrong.
I've said this a trillion times on these podcasts. 50, no matter who the fuck you are, doesn't matter who you are.
Look at Tom Brady.
There's very few exceptions to this. Very few. Like, The Rock is an anomaly, all right? Because I don't really know anybody that doesn't like him. But that's an anomaly. That's not you. The truth is that 50% of the people aren't going to like you. 50% of the people are going to be predispositioned to like you. Because of whatever. It could be a million things. Probably you'll never know why. Could be your hair color. Could be the way you look. Could be your voice. Could be the content you put out. Doesn't matter. 50% are going to like you. 50% are going to be predispositioned to not like you. People who understand how to win and people who understand how to create value and profit for themselves understand one thing. You're not for everybody. Okay? And if you go to my Instagram page, what's it say right on there? Not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
It's one of the most valuable things that you can understand about business. You are far better off working to make the 50% who are predispositioned to like you, doing things to make them love you, contributing to them, bring value to them, than you are trying to pander and ride the middle so that you don't offend the 50% who aren't going to like you anyway. This is the number one thing that holds people back in business. It happens to be the number one thing that holds people back on social media as well, because it keeps you frozen. It keeps you where you are. It keeps you from evolving. Because, for example, like me, it's easy to fall into that. I've fallen into that before. I've fallen into where I've done the same kind of posts for 6 months straight. And finally, like, I'm sick of seeing it, right? And then I got to switch. But, dude, the point is that if you are not delivering authentic content, if you are not connecting with your audience, if you are not getting engaged comments, remember, focused engaged comments about your post, curious questions about how you do things, how you live, what you like, what you do. If you're not getting that, you are going to be passed up in social media. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, but years go by fast and things seem to change overnight. And I'm giving you the recipe to be successful for the next phase of social media. And that's what we're going to get into on the next part here.
Well, and I can tell you, I mean, from seeing the back end of conversion of actual sales, which is what we're talking about is value, right? Being able to sell something, you're making a career, you're building a brand of yourself. That is, if these bigger companies are looking at you to use you as a tool for marketing, I got to look at you as a sales dollar conversion number.
It's two different things. One, branding.
Right.
All right. Two, direct response. I can tell you right now, and the difference, just in case you don't know, branding is a billboard when you drive down the highway. I know a billboard could be direct response for you fucking advertising nerds. I'm an advertising nerd too, okay? We could make a direct response billboard, but for the sake of argument, branding would be a billboard with a Budweiser logo on it. Direct response would be an advertisement that has a call to action. Hey, call now and you'll get blah, 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 blah. Or go to this website and enter this code, you get blah, 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 blah. That's direct response. And there is a huge difference between the two, and both are necessary for success in business. But what we're talking about here is what you just said. We're talking about how to make the most money possible and how to make the most money possible as an influencer. And the way to make the most money as an influencer is to become a great direct response person. And the way that you become a great direct response person is by having focused content that is along whatever it is that you do that people trust, believe, and are enthusiastic about.
Yeah, relevant content.
That's right.
To those people, because that is the number ultimately that these companies, us, are going to look at.
Right. And what you're going to see on social media, dude, is companies shift from
Macro to
eyeballs.
micro.
That's right. Eyeballs into into things that produce an actual trackable result.
I think the most successful people, big picture, in the next 5 years will be macro influencers who adopt a micro mindset.
No question. No question, because they have a huge head start.
Well, and they're going to make, I mean, you got to look at some of these incomes, because you can see it. You can see it from a person who has 100,000 followers who's making
Fuck, 150 grand a month.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
And when you look at, if you take the conversion
And
number,
if you think that's a bullshit number, we have reps in our company that have less than 100,000 followers that make 6 figures a month. A fucking lot of them. It's not bullshit. It's not false. It's reality.
so when you take that number and you convert it up to a following, let's say somebody does have 2 million real followers. Let's say half of them are engaged, right? That's 10x that number that we were talking about. These macro influencers, if they learn to adapt and adjust, are going to make pro athlete money.
Oh my God.
If they can do that. The problem is ego allows them, it doesn't allow them
it
to
stops them from making a
check down.
change because they don't want to take what's perceived to be a step backwards to make 10 steps forward.
And it legitimately, I mean, because it's a convertible number. I mean, the cool thing about running an internet business is like,
everything's trackable.
and not only is everything trackable, like I'm a data nerd. Like I can sit here and I can tell you, I can say, okay, well, here's your.
And let me tell you something. All the fucking agencies out there that are digital agencies and this and that'll tell you different than what I'm telling you right now are full of shit. They're not writing the checks like we're writing them, we're writing them both to branding and direct. I'm going to tell you right now, what we're talking about here is the real. I'm telling you the real shit.
You can always see real and pretty in a from my perspective, I can always see real, because if I go to somebody and ask them, hey, are you open to be a trackable person or trackable link? Like, can we watch this interaction? If the answer is no, I already know what's going on.
Yeah, they're buying fake followers,
Buying fake followers, fake likes. They don't have belief in their engagement. Yeah, right. So it's which is
okay.
Well,
if that's what you know, if that's what you got, that's okay.
That's their bluff.
But your deal right now should be to fucking change gears and get into what's going to be real for the next fucking 5 years.
Part of that taking a step back is also saying no to some of the ads that you're asked to promote too.
Well, you should never not align. I mean, this is just a core characteristic of being what I would say is. I mean, I'm not for sale.
If you don't, dude, fucking same. Dude, that's why I don't run ads. That's why I don't run ads here, even though I could have made $3 or $4 million a year running ads. I don't run ads because guess what? Dude, I turned down Jack Daniels for a fucking campaign. I turned down K-Swiss for a campaign. You know why? Because I don't drink Jack Daniels and I don't fucking wear K-Swiss. No offense, Gary V. I buy Gary V's K-Swiss because Gary's my boy. I have him in my office. Proud as fuck. Just not what I roll with. Now, if Nike wants to come give me a fucking check, guess what? I'm not against taking a paycheck for shit I already do.
Or if Bacardi wants to come give me one.
That's what I'm saying.
Same.
Yeah.
But it's only $20 a handle, so I'll be all right. I'm not really struggling for a sponsorship there. But no, I mean, you could see it from the back end of when you're confident in what goes down. Like, if you're truly and genuinely being you and you're going out and being you, you're confident in that number. And you can have those conversations, like, because they come across the play too. There are people who have legitimately super engaged, massive followings. And if they're really serious about it, they'll convert. They'll talk to you about converting. If they're not, they'll hide behind it.
It's no different than a salesperson. If you hire a salesperson and they insist on a fucking steady salary, guess what?
You better be tied.
It's because they suck at sales.
I want to be tied to the number, the growth number.
Commission.
Growth number.
Yeah.
Growth number.
But look, dude, I'm not here to judge anybody. All right, like a lot of
we're judging. We're speaking the truth.
I know, but a lot of these big influencers, guys and girls, get shit talked on them now because they're like, all you do is show your ass and your tits. Well, guess what? You're the motherfucker complaining about it, but you're the one that likes their shit.
Yeah, you're following them.
They're not just following them. It's what they're doing to them.
Right.
They're convincing that person
that's what they do.
That's what they should be doing. Okay. And then you're fucking yelling at them about it. Look, it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you are because shit is changing right now. What matters is that you understand where the fuck it's going.
Well, and I think it's also equally as important to the new person to understand it. Like, don't get intimidated by that number. You're going to get on Instagram. You might have.
I agree.
It's going to take you a minute to get to.
And it's going to take somebody who, let's say you have 2,000 followers or 1,000 or 500, and you're looking at people and saying, dude, 5 million, how the fuck did they get there? Because 4 years ago, there was no regulation on who saw your shit. So when you posted it, everybody saw it. So like there was the Explorer page and the algorithm and all this shit didn't exist because Instagram wanted people to fucking love the platform. Then their idea is to monetize the platform later. So the idea, get as many people on as you can, get them as engaged as you can. How do you do that? You make them feel good about getting attention. So they made a platform that was conducive to massive growth, which kept people using it. All right? Now they want to monetize it, so they limit the views, they limit the number of comments, they limit the number of people who see it. So your ability to go from 0 followers to 5 million is way fucking different now than it was 4 years ago. So if you're at 500 now, you shouldn't be looking at 1 million as what you should be trying. You should be trying to get 40, 50,000, 100,000 super fucking engaged people, because those are the people who are getting paid on social and will continue to get paid. And when I say get paid, I don't mean get $1. I mean they're making the most money.
Your goal should be to get to 10,000. Because at 10,000, you get swipe up. And at swipe up, you come over to our system. I'll teach you how to convert it.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. The reason, dude, most people have no idea how to properly use their posts and their swipe up. And we're going to cross over into the macro strategies or the micro strategies here for me. Because we've talked about being vulnerable. We've talked about being authentic, the importance of that. We've talked about, the importance of understanding that you can't be an all-in-one person. We've talked about those things. So let's talk about how to do those things. Like how would you get from, the same strategy is for both people, by the way. It's for the 500 follower people or the 200 follower people or the fucking 20 million people. How do you get to a point where you can create what we're talking about, focused engagement that is appealing to brands? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do we get to that?
So could you do a deep dive into exactly what it means to have a focused comment and how you follow up on a focused comment and build on that? You know what I mean?
How do I do it?
Yeah. How do you do it? Like we use the example of the difference between somebody saying, "Oh, you look great, baby," and then somebody saying, a comment that
There's
actually.
nothing wrong with posting a picture in your bikini, by the way. There's nothing wrong with posting a picture of your shirtless body as a man or your car. I post my cars all the fucking time. But what do I do when I post the car? I tell a story. And what's the saying? Those who tell the best stories are the ones that control the world. Okay? You have got to understand how important storytelling is to building a brand. All right? And we have this amazing platform on Instagram and all the social media that allows us to do that from different aspects. Each thing that you have, your posts, your stories, and your lives are different tools that should be used in a different way. And while it may seem like being authentic is just going off the hip, I can promise you that people who come across as authentic are doing so in a purposeful manner. They understand something that you're not getting, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. They understand how to use the tools in a proper fashion. So, for example, let's just use, because I think when people think about influencers, they think about chicks in bikinis. Let's just use that as an example, because I think it's something everybody can identify with. You post a picture of this attractive female. She gets 10,000 comments of heart eyes and eggplants and suck your toes bullshit, okay? That's not valuable. It's not going to continue to be valuable. What's going to be, what's more valuable than that? 10 fucking comments that are real, genuine shit. Like, how did you get in shape? Or how did you do this? Or how do you get modeling gigs? Or this or that? You know where those questions come from? They come from your content that is what's the word I'm trying to, complementary to your picture, which is your captions, okay? Or it's your stories. For example, instead of posting a picture of you looking great in a bikini with a fucking comment that says, "Oh, sorry, not sorry," or some bullshit that makes you seem like a fucking clown, okay? How about this? Talk about some shit that's going on in your life. Give some real value. Talk about the struggle you're going through. Hey, I'm in Cabo, but you know what? Leading up until this trip, I dealt with this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I'm so happy to be here because it's allowed me to refresh my batteries, and I know some of this stuff looks like it's easy, but it's not. And here's what I deal with. Tell a fucking story. In addition, what you post in your fucking snaps, or not your snaps, I'm sorry, your Instagram story. I don't use Snapchat because why would you use it when you can use fucking Instagram story? But in your story, so this is how I think of it. I think of like the post is like my finished goods content. Like you're going to see a cool picture of me standing in front of one of my muscle cars with my arms crossed, with my muscles pushed out so they look extra big. I ain't denying it. I'm fucking being real. Like I'm trying to look extra fucking good in those pictures. Nothing wrong with that. But I always try to tell a story. I always try to entertain, or I always try to educate someone. Okay? And entertainment for me will be some quippy comment or some funny comment, right? Because that's funny. It entertains people. Education for me would be a story of what I think when I look at the photo, right? And impact. Impact comes along with education usually when you tell a story. How do I connect with people? It has to be a genuine thing. But when you talk about your stories should, this is how I think of it. The post is your finished product, okay? And you don't want it to be just the finished product like, look, I'm fucking hot, fuck you. That's not what I'm talking about. But you can look really good there and then tell a story in your caption. And then your stories, your Instagram stories should be behind the scenes of how the fuck you live. Real shit. Like, hey, here's, like, dude, I did it last night. I'm laying on the couch. Like, all these other entrepreneurs are at the Super Bowl and they're fucking with celebrities and this and that. Motherfucker, I'm on my couch like you motherfuckers with my dog. That's real shit. You know what I mean? Like, so what is it that you do in a day? What is it that how do you live? Because like a lot of these people are always just trying to put out this perfect shit, and that's what's keeping them from engaging. So your post is a finished product. Your stories are your behind the scenes, okay? And your caption is your ability to connect and tell a story. That's how I think of it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you have a guideline? Do you think that somebody could get away with a finished, polished post like once every couple days as long as they were active every day on stories?
Yeah.
I do it.
Yeah, that's how everybody does it. That's how I do it. Like,
I feel like there's this common wisdom that's not actually true, that you have to post every day, multiple times a day.
I can tell you this. If your content's really good, people will be asking you where your posts are. Like when I don't do a podcast, I get bombarded with, where's the fucking podcast? That's how you know your shit's good.
Then there's the other flip of the coin where people force content too much because they think that
I think that's the narrative right now in social media. The social media experts are telling people you've got to post 7 times a day. Dude, look, there's something called ad fatigue. All right? You know what ad fatigue is? Ad fatigue is when you run an ad and people see it so much they stop responding.
Well, I think everybody can resonate to this. There's like, in town, there's the mortgage guys, right? And like, call us number 399-9999.
Man, I'm calling someone who ain't them.
That's what I'm saying. But every town has that, right? So you learn to, when you're driving down the road, as soon as that ad comes on, your brain goes, zzz.
Yep.
Right.
And as soon as that ad's over, your ears go right back up. Zzz.
Right.
And now you're listening again.
But all that,
social's the same way.
Any of the quote unquote experts, all right, I'm using this shit in real world. Like, this is how we build our business.
I mean, I can see the fucking analytics on the back end. So I can
That's
tell you how it works.
Right. So, feeling the need to over post and over fucking this and that. Like, and this is like the motherfucker, like, let's just go off. If you're a social media influencer and you have a fucking assistant or a manager, get the fuck out of here. Shit ain't that hard. I'm just going to say that right now. I run 7 fucking companies. I ain't got a fucking assistant. All right. This motherfucker is busier than anybody I know. Where's his fucking assistant? All right. It comes down to the attitude of like, I'm a big deal. Okay. And you need to lose that shit because regular people don't relate to that.
Well, the person who's going to take your job is going to lose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to lose it real quick and then they're going to go make all the money and you're not going to have a job.
Right.
But it's a very simple.
Dude, the first thing you got to do is get your fucking ego out of the way. What you've done that's worked so far doesn't matter.
I have a good answer to this because I think it's
What's the question?
Well, the multiple posts thing a day versus content. We went through this when Instagram was changing and the algorithm was coming in. We would go tell all of our important people at the time, hey, listen, you got to post twice a day, and let me look at the interaction on the background because Google Analytics, we could see it come in, like where the traffic's coming from. Is it working? Is it not working? We track their likes.
Instagram Analytics, not Google.
Well, no, we would watch Google traffic coming through the inbound. So then we would see, at that time, they didn't even have Instagram Analytics. And then we would watch.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We would say, hey, you go post this, and then we would have a male counterpart with a similar like and engage. You go post this, at morning and night. And we were trying to figure out and you know what always works?
High quality content.
High quality fucking content.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how many times a day you post. It doesn't matter if you post 3 times a day, twice a week,
twice
once
a week.
Listen, I post once a week. I'm not. I post once a week, maybe twice a week.
And
I'm in my story every fucking day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'll put my stories up against everybody, but like I'm me. I get to be me in my stories. I have fun. I relate to my people, and I love seeing people over there. Mm-hmm. You know, my post, like it takes me an hour or two to fucking write it. Well, I don't have an hour or two all the time, but I make sure I get an hour or two every week to engage with my people and give them a shot at it. But every day on the stories, I love the stories. And so that's where I have my most strength. So I get to talk to my people. I respond to people in video message because it's easy for me to communicate with them. And you know what? That's where my strength is.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. You don't have to post 3 times a week to get to 1 million fucking followers. If you make great shit, the people who will love it will find it.
Yep.
Because the people who are engaged in it, they tell their friends, hey, you need to go follow that guy.
That's right.
You guys are not quite as old as I am, but you are old enough to remember that time when there were such a things as newspapers, and there was such a thing as a guy or a woman, as the case may be, who was a weekly columnist. And literally this person wrote one thing for the entire week, but some people were so incredibly good at it that they made millions of dollars writing one thing 1 week. And what I hear you saying, Sal, is, yeah, I mean, pour all of your effort into, you know, if all you can do is one post a week, pour all of your effort into that, and you can build a following on that.
Well, I think what he's really saying, Vaughn, is that quality content above everything. It's if you do 1 post a week that's super high quality, it's better than 3 posts a day. They're fucking mediocre.
That's right. Because they'll water it down. You know, the people who will love it, they'll read the message and love it. That content never gets old. If you can produce fucking unbelievable content every morning at 7 a.m., people will love it. But odds are, I can tell you, it's hard to fucking do that.
Yeah.
It's really fucking hard to do that.
I look at Instagram as a blog.
Well, it is. It's a virtual blog in today's
Your stories are a blog.
Yeah. People love, dude, the story's where it's at because you can't hide.
Here's how I would encourage people to see it. Real simple terms. Your fucking posts are like your finished movie, right? Like that's your movie. I just made a post. It's my fucking movie. Okay. The stories are how you made the movie. It's like the outtakes. Like, you know how, like,
everybody loves B-roll.
Everybody loves it.
Right.
It's fucking great. Like, at the end of, like, the movie, after the credits, they got the bloopers and shit. Mm-hmm. Well, that's better than the whole fucking movie. And what do you say whenever you see that shit? You're like, fuck, dude, I wish I did that shit. That looks awesome.
No, those guys are just like me.
Yeah,
that's,
right.
That's what you know what I mean?
Dude, okay. That's the point. You just said it. What do they say?
Those dudes are just like me.
Yeah. That's it. Mm-hmm. That is fucking it. That is the key to winning on social media. Understanding that you need to make people see that you are exactly like them with a little bit more of whatever it is they want. A little bit more success, a little bit more progression.
Or a little bit more balls because it's hard to put yourself out there.
Dude, the ego thing is what's killing people right now.
Yeah.
Like,
to your point, we just got done with a syndicate summit for the RTA syndicate a couple weeks ago. It was fantastic. The speakers were absolutely off the charts.
Damn,
amazing.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking plug.
Well,
are you plugging?
It might be a little bit, but
I already said no ads.
I know, but for me personally, and this is not taking anything away from you.
It actually was awesome.
It was awesome. This is not taking anything away from you or Ed or Lou Holtz or any of the people that we had there. But for me, one of the most incredible moments was when Derek Struggle got up and he said, he was telling about, like, for those of you who don't know, there's always this ongoing, like, challenge, like a physical transformation or goal transformation. And Derek said, he said that at some point when he was working out, he would push himself so much so that he'd actually get emotional. Like, he'd literally get, like, tears in his eyes and stuff. And as I was listening to that, I was like, holy crap. I'm not the only one. There have been times that I have literally not gone to first form things because I'm like, if I really push myself, like, I'm going to lose it. And I told you about that, Sal. And but hearing him say that was like, crap. That was the most empowering thing, and it literally has had effects to this day. But just to your point, that people don't really believe that we're all the same.
Dude, you have an obligation if you're in a place of where people are going to look up to you to let people know, okay, that you are just like them, because you fucking are. Yep. I know people who are billionaires, and guess what? When they close the fucking doors to their big motherfucking house, they're the same as us. They fart, they take shits, they fucking do goofy stuff, they tell funny jokes. It doesn't matter how polished you pretend to be on the internet. They are normal fucking humans.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that you have as somebody who's been fortunate enough to find some sort of influence or notoriety or celebrity is to connect with people who are hoping to find the same for them. Okay? Because, dude, and a lot of people choose to do the opposite. They choose to, because they're so egotistical,
insecure,
and insecure that instead of saying, look, I know exactly what it's like to start a business. I know exactly what it's like to feel hopeless. I know exactly what it's like to feel like it's never going to work out. I know exactly what it's like to say, dude, I'm so far away, I don't even see how I could do this. I know what that feeling is like. But guess what? I kept going. I kept getting up in the morning. I kept giving it everything I had. And guess what happened? Things started to happen. And I became who I am just because I was able to go through exactly what you're going through and not stop. When you tell people that shit, they get that you get it. And like, I know a lot of these big names. I'm not talking about the ones just with our name on it. I know them all over. And they all have incredible stories, but very few of them are actually telling any of it because they're not going to get as much likes as they will with a big old booty pic. All right? Dude, you are violating, first of all, you're violating your obligation and you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that because you're actually going to be less productive long term. And so when you have people who choose to be points like they choose to make themselves relatable to other humans, that takes fucking balls. You know what doesn't take balls? To stand up on the fucking hill and build yourself up like some of these fucking social media people do, especially in the entrepreneur space, where they're a fucking king and everybody else is the fucking peasants.
It's lonely at the top.
Yeah. Dude, you know, you guys don't understand what it's like to be me. I'm so fucking rich, I wipe my ass with money, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude.
Who makes the most money?
What do you mean?
Like, who makes the most money?
Don't talk about it.
Or, no, I'm just saying in general, right? The people who solve the most problems.
They solve the hardest problems.
They solve the hardest problems, right? Those people always make the most money. So the thing is you have to, people search.
Well, I won't even say the hardest problems. They're the best at solving the problem of hope. They're the best at solving the problem of convenience, and then the best at selling the problem of attention. Mark Zuckerberg solves the problem of attention. Okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason the St. Louis Cardinals have some of the highest attendance in the country in sports isn't because they're always winning. It's because they always have a chance to win. They don't win every year, but every year they almost win. They almost get into playoffs. They're competitive.
Right.
The reason the Rams had the lowest attendance ever of any sports franchise when they were in St. Louis, same fans, was because they didn't even provide the hope that they might win. All right.
2-12.
What?
2-12.
For fucking, they were the losingest team over the course of the time that they were in that losing streak of any fucking sports team in history. The reason why nobody went to the game was it wasn't because they were losing. It was because there was no hope of winning. So when you fucking think about what it is you sell and what you're showing people, it's an important thing to understand that that's what people buy. If you're not selling attention, if you're not selling convenience or time, and you're not selling hope, you ain't selling fucking nothing. That's the truth. And I mean that figuratively and literally, meaning they might like your post and they might make a comment.
They ain't buying the shit.
But they ain't buying your shit. Okay? So how do we remedy that situation? Whether you're 10 million or 100 million or fucking one, you would remedy it by adjusting the way that you communicate so that it either A, educates, B, impacts, or C, entertains people to the point where it provides one of those products. Convenience, okay, time, attention, or hope.
Or you could sell all three using your social stories.
Hey,
you can get.
I do it every day, bro.
You could get a convenient answer to your problem by having a relatable person that you look to.
I shouldn't even be doing this podcast, to be completely honest. Like, I feel fucking stupid for doing it because there's people that could actually benefit that aren't in my best interest, i.e. competitors that listen to this podcast that are going to be like, fuck, dude. But you know what the truth is? They won't do it because their egos are too big. So I don't fucking care.
You know, I'm listening to you talk. It just to summarize the way I'm understanding what you're saying, it's just the essence of influence. You're being honest. You're being vulnerable so that people say, hey, that guy's just like me, so that when they do see you winning, they can say, I can be just like him.
Yeah. Why would you not want to do that? You know how fucking awesome it is?
It's beautiful.
Dude, do you know how awesome it is? Like, can I tell you, for real, no bullshit. And my actions back this up, by the way. And I'll explain that in just one second. But, dude, I would take the ability to impact people and improve people over any fucking money that you could ever make in this fucking world. And I'll tell you how my actions back that up. I think I talked about this on the last podcast. If I didn't, I might have talked about it somewhere else. I talk a lot. Sometimes I forget where I say shit.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? I do. Like, people are like, oh, dude, that one thing you said on the last podcast. Dude, I'm in the zone. I will not remember what the fuck I'm saying. Like, it's like conversations you have when you're wasted. Like, I don't remember what I talk about on the podcast because I'm in a different mindset.
Smile and nod.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to remind me what the fuck I said, bro. But, you know, dude, in 2009, 2010, you know, we still weren't making any money. Chris and I were not making any money. No money. All right? And I considered changing careers and moving on to something else a bunch of different times. And then after 10 years of being in business where we truly weren't making any money, I had to have an honest conversation with myself. Andy, you're not making any money. You're not going to be this wealthy person that you've always wanted to be. You're not going to have this and this kind of life. Okay? I had to come to that honest conclusion. And so I was looking at other things too, because it's hard to keep that hope alive when you're 10 years in and you don't have it coming in. 10 years, by the way. That's not bullshit. I had to make a decision. And my decision was, you know what? I don't necessarily make as much money as I'd like to make right now, which is zero. I could have made more money working at McDonald's. No fucking lie. 10 years in my business, I could have made more money working at McDonald's. I thought about what I did, and I'm like, you know what? There's nothing better to me than when somebody comes into my store and they come back 6-7 months later, losing 100 pounds with tears in their eyes, thanking me for what I did. And I chose that path at that time. I could have chose other things that would have made money. I chose to stick with what I was doing and to get that over the money. And because I chose that and I committed to that, the money started to happen. Okay? And my actions have always and will always back up creating as much impact as I can by relating to people and understanding their problems and helping them know that I understand as well in a genuine way. Not only because I make a lot of money doing it, but first and foremost, because I love doing it. It's the right thing to do. And I enjoy it far more than you could ever enjoy any financial success. And that's the thing about social media right now. People are not grasping what I just said. They're choosing the likes. They're choosing the comments. They're choosing the heart eye emojis instead of choosing the right thing to do. Right? And this has nothing to do with the pictures they post. This has nothing to do with how hot you are, how big your titties are, how big your fucking ass is, or how ripped you are, how muscly you are. Nothing to do with that. Feel free to post all of that shit. I fucking like it. Everybody else likes it. If anybody says that they don't like looking at a picture with a fucking girl with a nice body, or if you're a girl or one of the other 47 genders that fucking there is now, or whatever the fuck is going on, if you're one of the people, whatever it is you fucking like, we like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, and anybody who says different is lying. And if you're one of these people who gets all kinds of hate because of what the shit that you post, it's because you're not posting valuable shit with it. And you're just kind of saying, it's kind of like saying, hey, look at me, I'm better than you.
You should use a platform to do good.
I believe that too.
Take the opportunity to do good.
But Sal, the best part about what we're in right now is the more good you do, the more money you make.
It's an amazing concept.
It's that fucking, dude, that's what is so exciting about this age that we're in. We're in a fucking age where the more you help people, the more you solve their problems, the more you connect with people, the more you relate to people, the more opportunity there will be to make money. I cannot think of something cooler than that. I cannot think of anything cooler than that.
Well, you got to think about it. The customer wins because they lost 100 pounds. They're happy. They love you. They tell their friends.
But this is with any business.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're selling.
You got to see it that way, though, is the point. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to see the vision. Like, People get hung up on selling things. Oh, I want to sell things. If you're providing enough value, the obligatory buy is always there. It's naturally there because they're buying you. So when you're selling them or teaching them or educating, which goes back to the point 1, 2, 3, educate, trust, loyalty. If you're educating them on how to change their life and they can effectively apply that to their lives, then they start trusting your information. You start teaching them how to work out. You teach them how to exercise. You teach them how to eat properly. You teach them
really what they're teaching them is that you're not full of shit. And when you say something is good, it's fucking good.
And then they become loyal to you. And then what happens is you say, hey, listen, not only do you trust my information I'm providing for workouts, that you say, hey, I really like this hat. This is the best fucking hat I've ever owned. And guess what they do?
Buy the fucking hat.
They go buy the fucking hat. You know why? Because you never lied to them. And you helped them change their life.
Not only that.
And they send their friends there.
Let's talk. I mean, dude, it's so fucking simple. Like,
Vaughn, there is a very, 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 very wide open point, though, that needs to be, the dot needs to be connected here. You know what else happened in 2010?
Sal came on board.
I came on board. You see the math
It
here?
took me a second.
10 years of struggle. I got to come over here. I got this fucking this
come on, dude.
You were here train
for
on the tracks.
You were here for like 2 hours a day back then. You were the mid shit.
That's all it took. 2
yeah.
hours.
Actually, that is true because we have no business.
Listen,
hey, a lot of people don't know this though. A lot of people don't know. I would like to touch on this because he's a fucking pretty exceptional human. Sal,
by virtue of genetics.
Of course.
Well, we covered that.
Clearly because of my influence as a big brother.
Right.
But listen, this is another good lesson. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This motherfucker left a mid 6 figures job where he was the best in the world at what he did to come do something that he believed was the right thing to do. When he started here, I paid him 1/5 of what he made at his other job because that's all I could afford. And to be honest, to afford that was a huge ordeal to even pay him that. This motherfucker I give him shit about coming in at 2 o'clock and leaving at 4, which is true. He did do that. But what I really, and I have never said before, what he was doing until 2 o'clock and what he did after 4 was he was out pouring concrete patios for people for side money to be able to survive because I couldn't pay him enough. Okay? So that shows you. And now he's way better off. We're getting better and better by the day, all right? Because he was willing to do what he believed was the right thing to do. And I refuse to believe, and I know this for sure, that there's people out there that don't know what's the right thing to do as from a quote unquote influential standpoint. It's you feel it. You know what's right. You're just scared to do it because it's not going to get enough likes or it's not going to get enough comments. And you think that's going to make you less effective when in reality, we're not talking about what's going to make you less effective today. It's what's going to make you more effective for the next 10 years.
And usually thank you, by the way, but usually
That's all a lie.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
except for the 10-year
all
part.
the truly great ones have to be threatened with keeping office hours.
Well, I don't have to be threatened.
What do you say?
He said all the truly great ones around here have to be threatened with keeping office hours.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately now I got so much shit to do that I have to come here, and I got 100 kids at home, so it's easier to be here than it is to be at home.
Fuck, between you and Riggle, you guys got a fucking football team.
That's what we do in there. Actually, we strategize on parenting.
Yeah.
I even forget what the fuck I was going to say now.
Well,
That's what happens when you have.
Let me say this real quick.
brain.
So the other day, Ryan Mickler, Order Man guy, he's been on our podcast. You're going to be on this podcast,
I
right?
just was.
Yeah. So the other day, he posted on his Facebook. I love this. He said, I really love the fact that there's so much BS going on about toxic masculinity and people raising their boys to be basically these effeminate wimps. He said because my boys are going to dominate.
I saw that. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it was an awesome statement.
Yeah, but it's great. That's the same thing for social right now.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Because the opportunity right now to crush in social media is better than it ever has been, even in the beginning.
Right.
Because right now we have an evolution happening, a revolution to be completely, if we're using the right term, of where people are drifting away from meaningless shit and gravitating towards shit that makes them better in some way.
Absolutely.
Whether it makes them laugh, whether it teaches them some shit, or whether it makes them think and improve their skills.
And even on a bigger level, there's so much rampant shallowness and self-centeredness that if you are not a person like that, you're going to stand out. If you're somebody who goes in
you can
deep,
smell that shit now, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty in the
so
early
if
days.
you are a genuinely authentic person who cares about somebody,
You'll win.
you are going to be an outlier.
You'll
And
win.
you're going to draw people to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And dude, I'm going to tell you, and people can
Especially in the success industry.
listen, people will argue this shit wait till the fucking moon comes fucking down and crashes on the earth. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm right and they're fucking wrong. This shit is changing. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't evolve from being someone who just is an image-based fucking quote-unquote celebrity into someone who provides true value in your stories, you're not going to continue to get paid the way you have been or even close. Because yes, you will for the next 2 years, but what's going to happen when the big brands smarten up? What's going to happen when they understand focused, engaged content? And everything shifts from people who are quote-unquote eyeball related to people who are actual benefit related. You're going to be out of a fucking job. It's scary. I'd be scared. I would be scared.
Usually, and this is the point that I was going to say, sorry, and I popped off, the right decision is the unpopular, hard decision to make.
You feel it.
Yeah. It's that scary transition movement. So, like, you think there's, like, some truth over there, but then you kind of have, like, shit, I don't know.
Well, it's hard to make that decision when you feel something inside as the right thing, but the external world that is right now is rewarding the opposite behavior.
Yeah, well, but
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, this was my career move. You know what I mean? My career move.
Exactly. So, like, my paycheck says this, but my heart says this. And that's a hard decision to make, man.
I remember thinking, well, because there was only 5 people. I think I said this morning in the meeting. There's only 5 people that supported my
Everybody
move.
else said you were fucking crazy. And where are those motherfuckers now?
Asking for jobs.
Right, exactly.
That was the joke. You know, it's like, so understanding that like transition, it's going to be vulnerable. You're going to be scared. It's going to be tough. And you're most likely, you're not going to feel like you know what the fuck you're doing for a minute. And
Dude,
you know
I'll
what?
tell you right now, no bullshit. You want to become excellent in social media? Fucking join First Forms Legionnaire program.
Yeah, come on over.
We'll fucking teach you everything you need to fucking know.
I do it twice a week, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday.
And you learn. Guess who you learn from? You learn from him and you learn from me. And you learn from people who are literally making high fives and 6 figures a month on their social media. That's who you fucking learn from. So if you really want to be good, I would say that, but only if you actually use the products. If you don't use the products, I don't want you.
Man,
Best way to genuinely believe in something is be a customer first, right?
That's it.
you bet.
That's why we have an application process to be a representative of our brand. People are like, why don't you just open it up to everybody? Because if I open it up to everybody, I got fucking a very disingenuous fucking
Message.
rep program.
Yeah.
Same reason why you didn't franchise S2 in the
That's
beginning.
right. That's why I don't franchise S2 out publicly, because I hold it for my guys that are in the team. Because look, I believe that those guys going to work for me for $8, $10, $12 an hour and bust their asses. They deserve that opportunity if they want it. I would much rather do that than to fucking. I mean, dude, I said this last week's meeting. Dude, I've had offers to buy my business for hundreds of millions of dollars. $600 million I could have cashed out at the highest one. $600 million. You know what I do with $600 million?
Whatever you want.
Sure.
Anything I fucking want. And you know why I don't take it? Because I'm obligated to people in this company. I'm obligated to people who have been here. And I'm obligated to the business and the customers we serve to correct the fucking course of the way things are done. And I believe that. Truthfully. And I'm willing to bet my entire fucking life on it. You know what I mean? Anything that, when you listen to what other people say, you got to understand a lot of those people have biased opinions because their skin's in the game. You know what I mean? Do what's right. Do what you know is right. And if you're a fucking person right now who's not earning any money on social media, but you want to, you need to follow the people who are earning a lot of money, doing it the way that it's going to get paid over the next 5 to 10 years, probably 50 years, versus people who are getting paid on the way it used to be. Meaning, like, dude, if you're an attractive female and you've got 50,000 followers because you're attractive, don't continue to build that following based on your attractiveness. Build that following off of the qualities that you have to offer so you can connect with people, help them, serve them, and then you're going to be able to monetize later, right? Yeah. If you're someone who has 10 million followers and every follower of your 10 million likes and comments because they like to see you in the underwear, shift gears. Post the shit that you want. Use the tools you have. But you have other shit to offer and start offering it. Otherwise, the paycheck's going to stop.
Well, here's what's going to stop. You might get less likes
today.
Today.
You for sure will. It's one step back for 5 steps forward.
But I would take the step back now to start realigning who you are and your brand to make sure that the money, sales, influence continues on long picture, because if you take the other side, the short-sighted approach, you will lose.
Not only that, fucking dude, your looks are they're a perishable fucking item. Like, I'm sorry, but we're all going to get uglier. Besides me, I'm going to get more handsome. But the rest of you motherfuckers are going to get uglier. Okay?
It's talking to you, Tyler.
No, I'm talking to all of you, except me. I've said exactly what I mean. I'm going to be that gray fox, dude. I'm going to be like that dude.
You're going to be Sean Connery?
No,
Dos
yeah,
Equis.
right. What's that dude's name? That Giovanni fucking Luca Giovanni, that dancing dude. Hate on him all you want. That motherfucker's having a good time. And you know what? He looks good too.
He does. That dude's ripped.
He's fucking ripped.
He's probably like 5'3", 135 pounds.
Yeah, but I'm going to be like the
guy.
230 of that. I'm going to be like the gray fox with the gray beard and the gray hair. I ain't even hit my prime yet. I'm just saying, though.
Let's be real. If you and I lived that lifestyle, you'd be 350.
First of all, if I lived that lifestyle, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Okay?
He gone.
Yeah. You'd find me in a ditch. There's a reason I never did drugs. And the reason is because I know if I did them,
You'd like them.
I would like them so much that I would fucking end up in the ditch in about a month.
Well, we do have family members like that.
I know, dude. That's what taught me to stay away from it. You know, people are like, oh, dude, you could just do a little. No, thanks, man. You don't get me.
Look what a little gets you.
I'm 100 to 0. Like, dude,
Literally.
Yeah. Like, you fucking, the first line of cocaine I did would be it would be a dump truck the next day. That's why I don't fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, dude.
His line, we should have a meme made. Somebody will do this. Maker's Mark. It's a hell of a drug.
No, dude, I have a fucking post from our old banquet like 2 years ago. It was me and Cunahan, and I'm dancing. And I think that's the caption I put on it. I said, whiskey, it's a hell of a drug. Dude, that's why I had to fucking give up whiskey, man. I had to fucking stop drinking whiskey because it made me fucking insane.
That's why don't you drink tequila?
Yeah.
I'd fight you or steal your girl.
Oh, yeah.
One of two things is going down. I promise you that.
Either one of them is not a good thing.
No.
Dude.
Wake up and be like, ah.
Yeah. Should have done that. Yeah.
But circling back to your point, though, I mean, just if you're the kind of person who is really making an Instagram page based on your attractiveness, think of all the time you're wasting and the potential real connections you're missing because you have to scroll through hundreds of stupid comments.
Not only that, bro,
to find the good connections.
Not only that, you're doing the wrong thing. Okay, if you're not telling a real story and connecting with people, what you're really doing by doing that is making people feel bad about themselves. And you could say all you want, and like, you know, I'm all about get tough, this, that, the other. But you're making yourself look like an ass because you're coming across as if you're better. You think you're better, which, dude, these people don't think that because I know them. They're not that kind of people. They're good people. They just happen to be attractive. You know what I mean? So they're getting judged on shit that really isn't even them. You know? So you have to understand that, like, dude, if you do good shit, if you contribute a little bit, if you give a little more, people respect that, which is going to create a better engagement process, more real fans. You know what I mean? Like, dude, Tom Bilyeu said this. Tom, who is a fucking great speaker, most underrated speaker that I fucking met personally.
I agree. That guy's awesome.
He's amazing. I don't think he gets the notoriety because you have to really like sit down and give him some attention before you understand how gifted this man is. He is very smart, very intelligent. He built a legitimate billion-dollar exit company in my industry, which I can tell you is hard as fuck. So he has all my respect, 100%. I didn't like him at first either. I thought he was a fucking arrogant prick. I've never told him that. So if you're listening, Tom, that's what my impression was. I'm sure he thought the same of me. But we've gotten to know each other. And
he wouldn't be far off. So,
yeah. But dude, the guy's brilliant. And he's an excellent speaker. Go watch his YouTube videos. Watch his Impact Theory show. It's amazing shit. All right? I think the Impact Theory show sells him short on his capabilities because I think when he excels is when he's actually speaking his own thoughts instead of interviewing people, my opinion, because it's so powerful. But I was talking to him and we were talking about, how to create companies and businesses and all this shit. Well, dude, if you look back on his social, what's he do? He tells people how the fuck he did it. He goes back and shows pictures of when he was like a little nerdy dude in Beverly Hills in front of it. Dude, that's inspiring shit. You know what I'm saying? We have someone here who who has been all those things, but yet is so relatable because this guy could present himself any way he wanted. It doesn't fucking matter to him. He's already exited the company. He chooses to present himself in a relatable way because in his heart, he believes it's right. It's not just to win. It's to help. And that's why you win. You see what I mean? There's a difference between pretending to care to win or winning because you actually care. Big difference. And most people can't understand what that means. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to win, care's got to come first. The success will come later. And it can't be fucking disingenuous. You know, a lot of people right now are listening to this and they're like, fuck, dude, I'm so confused on what to do. Everybody else says this, but this is what you're saying. No, I'm telling you because I fucking write the checks. I write the checks to the big motherfuckers and I write the checks to the little motherfuckers that actually care. And the checks I write to them are 10 times the size of the checks I write to the big motherfuckers. That's a fucking fact.
If the ship's sinking, who do you cut first?
I'm telling you right now. Yeah.
Dead weight.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself dead weight.
No, that's right. Become valuable. And it's changing. It's fucking changing.
Train's coming.
And anybody who says different is either ignorant or they have skin in the game to protect.
That's right.
Sal, what's your final word?
You'll never close your eyes and have doubt if you tell the truth and you live a good and you have good, genuine intentions. You know, like I think a lot of people get caught up in duping people. And
No. That's not your final word. Your final word should be what the fuck you said at the meeting today. If not blank, then blank.
If not, well, I say if not us, then who? So it's about changing the life, changing people's lives one life at a time. And if you're not going to go out and genuinely try to help people change their lives, then who else is going to do it?
That's right. And if you're not going to be the person who steps up and does the right thing, then who is? If you're not going to be the fucking influencer with 10 million people who changes gears to show people what the right fucking thing is, who the fuck's going to do it? Because the right thing is the right fucking thing. And the right thing is not making other people feel small and like you're better. The right thing is lifting other people up. It always will be. You will never lose by doing the right thing. Ever. You'll never lose. You might lose today. It might seem like you're losing. The feedback you're getting might tell you you're losing, but that's feedback mirage. Feedback mirage is this. Feedback mirage is you're getting a different feedback right now based off the actions you're taking than what it is the result will actually be. Meaning Sal, when he first took a step back from his job, he's making less money. If you just judge that feedback, you're not taking into account the actual feedback that's happening. So you're making decisions based off information that's actually false, right? Just like big influencers right now big companies right now are making decisions about who to pay to influence their brand that actually isn't true, because instead of diving deep to see who has the engaged, focused following, they're looking at likes and comments and followers, which none of that shit equates to fucking money. And whether you're a company right now that, you know, understands that, or whether you're a company right now that has no clue what the fuck I'm talking about, doesn't mean that it's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or not right. All right? The real gain in social media, the real play, is going to be how the fuck you make other people feel. Understanding that you are just like them. People are like, how the fuck do you get 10,000 people to show up to fucking hear you speak? Because they relate to me. I'm a relatable dude.
Cowboy boots and pickup trucks.
That's right. And you know what? If I want to drive fucking Rolls, I'll drive that too, because I can fucking do whatever I want.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, I did get rid of it. I got a new one coming. I'm getting a new one. But it ain't going to be here for like 6 months. So, but dude, the point is like, dude, how... And you know what I think before we end too? I think it should be important for people to understand what authenticity is. You know, you're going to look at somebody like me, or you're going to look at somebody like Gary, or you're going to look at somebody, you know, like one of these big influencers on Instagram or this or that. And let's say you're at the beginning. Authenticity is not being what someone else is. It's not being loud. It's not using the word fuck. It's not any of these things. it's being who you are. Because like I said, at the beginning or the whatever it was, the beginning, middle of the podcast, we talked about 50% of the people are going to relate and 50% of the people aren't. And you want a sure way to make sure that none of them relate? Pretend to be something that you aren't. Pretend to be an Andy Frisella. Pretend to be a Lindsay Palos. Pretend to be something you aren't. And you're sure as fuck not going to connect with anybody. The only way to truly connect with people is to be who you are, get good at telling and communicating stories that show who you are, and guess what? Be that in real life, because we have too much transparency now to where if you go out in public and let's say you happen to have built a massive following, and dude, I've seen this happen to other influencers recently, guys who pretend that, you know, they're one way and then they get caught slipping, that they're not this perfect person, and the fucking world comes down on them hard. You have to be who the fuck you are. If you're not a perfect person, don't pretend to be a perfect person. If you're not, you know, Andy Frisella, don't be Andy Frisella. Be fucking Joe. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that are going to relate to you, and they're going to relate to your story. And a lot of people right now are probably thinking, well, I sell fucking windows. How can I do this? Well, let me tell you something. It's not what you sell. It's how you entertain, it's how you educate, and how you impact. And people will buy as a result of that. So let's say, for example, you sell something that's not very sexy.
Oh, like the commercial with the boat with the spray.
Yeah.
That he.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Your point.
No, you
what
brought
about
it? You brought it up in the meeting. Like it's not a sexy product to sell.
Right.
But he sprayed it on the bottom,
and you're like, holy shit!
Holy fuck! He's
and
not
it's
sinking.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. So you have something that's not that sexy. Figure out creative ways to be entertaining. Figure out creative ways to be educational. I had a guy one time ask me, he's like, dude, I operate equipment. How do I build a social media presence? I'm like, well, I would go buy junk cars and crush them and do funny shit with that. Or I would do wheelies in my Bobcat. Or I would fuck it. What's that channel that you fucking always send me?
Black Sheep Skid. It's
Black
my boy
Sheep
Jake.
Skid. Do you talk to him?
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Jake's awesome.
Okay, so here's a prime example. Now we're talking about this motherfucker. All this motherfucker does is drive his fucking Bobcat, and he does wheelies and shit on it, which, by the way, Jake, is awesome. Come teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
All right? I'm going to hire you as my coach.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, here's a guy who just said, you know what I'm good at? Operating a fucking skid steer.
He's great at it.
He's great. So he makes videos that entertain.
And show that he can operate a fucking skid.
And
guess what?
Would you hire him?
People, fuck yeah.
Exactly.
That guy could brush your teeth with that thing.
Right. Dude, I think I saw him pick up that quarter thing.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
He picked up a quarter with the bucket of a fucking excavator.
He like flipped it up, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, two things I tell people all the time. You talk about sales. I always say, hey, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna have a hard motherfucking time. Like, I'm gonna compete. But one thing you'll never fucking beat me at is being me.
Yeah.
You can't fucking beat.
There's a
me.
saying that you can't out Amazon. You can. How many companies have tried to do what Amazon does?
That doesn't mean you shouldn't start a fucking e-commerce business.
No, it just means you should find your own flavor
Yeah.
and find your own vibe and find who you connect with. And who's going to connect with you is going to be the people that are just like you. I know it's hard to understand, but there are millions of people, no matter who the fuck you are, that will connect with who you are.
Why do you buy from Amazon?
Because it's convenient.
That's right. Convenience.
And I don't care about the price on Amazon.
It's not even cheaper anymore.
No, I click on the motherfucker.
Typically more expensive.
Because the shit shows up tomorrow.
That's right. Sales episode.
Yeah.
What episode was that? The 100.
You mean the one that you were on really early?
Yeah, that'd be a good point for these guys.
That
I
was
sell windows.
Sales is a way of life.
Sales is a way of life. But what number
it's
was it?
within like 25, I think.
Yeah, if you sell windows, you still got to create value. The sales process is no different.
Yeah.
Dude, if I sold windows, I would come up with all kinds of creative shit to make it funny.
Just know you wouldn't sell more than me.
No, you wouldn't. I would, but
No, you
they wouldn't. I wouldn't. Dude, I'd be making dude, if you and I had a window company and fucking figured out how to make it funny, mine would be way funnier than yours.
But I would sell all the windows.
No, you wouldn't. Look, dude, but like people handicap themselves because of the stories they tell themselves about who they are and what they are, and it's not true.
Afraid.
Like, dude, if you're a fucking, a window guy, fucking make videos of you throwing rocks at your window and I'm not breaking the window or whatever it is. Like, dude, make funny shit. Like, oh, these windows are so good that, you could creep on them and like, this is the way to creep properly. Like, you can make funny shit. Like, all the answers to social media are found in that equation that I talk about. Okay. And the equation is E2I equals E. What does that mean? It means educate, entertain. So that's the E2, right? It's like E squared. It's like Einstein's thing. What is E? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Basically, Einstein.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm like the Einstein of fucking social media with this equation. This is a social media Einstein equation. We need a name for it. Einstein's theory, Frisella's theory of social media. Here it is right here. E squared, all right? That's educate and entertain, okay? I, impact, equals E, engagement, all right? E2I equals E. Write that shit down because if you stay within that formula, you'll fucking win. All right. Now, I know all the math nerds out there are going to be fucking writing me being like, that's E squared and that should mean something. All right, motherfucker, tell me the way that it is. The only math I really give a fuck about is my bank account, and that fucking equation makes that account number go up. That's it. So I don't give a fuck about your math. I'm the only thing I can. And by the way, how about all the teachers when we were kids being like, when are you going to do that long division? You're not going to have a calculator in your fucking pocket, are you?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The whole time I heard you talking about Einstein's theory, all I kept thinking about is us watching Ricky Henderson's thing. Today I am the greatest of all time.
No, dude.
Ricky steal Ricky's base.
No, dude. That was because the only reason you thought of that was because I said, don't try to be Andy Frisella.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's talking about, because Ricky Henderson talks about himself as Ricky.
He refers to himself in the third person. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a fucking ego turd. I'm just saying, like,
everybody likes Ricky.
Yeah, but don't copy someone else's swag. Like, dude, I know motherfucker. Dude, I got motherfuckers out there that copy me so hard they went out and got tattoos in the same fucking places I got. All right? Like, dude, it's just like, you gotta, dude, you've gotta fucking take
That's weird.
Dude, that's like wear your skin weird. Like it puts the lotion in the basket.
Dude, I wonder if they tuck it.
Dude, I'd fuck me. Would you fuck me?
I wonder if anybody else even gets the tuck
No,
it.
they're fucking too young. No one's ever seen that movie.
Conversation Andy has with himself every morning in the bathroom. I'd fuck me.
No, when I have like 7 beers though, and I go in the bathroom at a bar, I definitely have.
I think everybody does that. Dude.
I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm looking good. The truth is, I look like I just got hit with a fucking steamroller because I'm drunk.
You're like, he's like, yeah, let's take a picture, and then when you finally see that picture from that night, you're like, fuck.
No, there's a zone. It's like playing pool. Like you could play really good pool when you got like 3 beer buzz. You get like a 12 beer buzz, you're fucking terrible.
Oh, you sure do think you're good?
You
still run your mouth.
Yeah, and you're terrible when you're sober too. So it's like you got to get in that zone. There's a picture zone. Like for us ugly people, there's a picture zone.
Tyler.
All right? The picture zone is this. You look shitty when you're sober. Fact. You can never smile right. You always look weird. Then when you're drunk, you look shitty. But when you're in that like 3 beer buzz, dude, you take the best pictures because you don't give a fuck.
You look like you're having a good time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. But you try to take pictures when I'm in that zone. It's like the ping pong zone or the pool zone. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Dart zone. You know, like you're terrible at darts when you're sober. You're terrible when you're fucked up. Golf. You're terrible when you're sober. You're terrible when you're fucked up. What do you laugh? Are you just good all the time?
I mean, do I got to answer that?
Fuck, dude. Dude, I mean, we could equate this to a lot of different things. I'm just saying. Like, sometimes you're real fast. Sometimes you're really good. Sometimes this shit don't work. There's a zone for fucking optimal
Not
fucking.
when I get down with it.
Yeah, there is a zone for this shit. All right? And the zone for your social media is this. E2I equals E. I'm a fucking genius for tying that together, by the way.
Tying.
Yeah. All right, let's do real final word. Vaughn, you start. All right, Sal, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think you definitely teed up my last one. Don't be afraid to start. When you start thinking about there's never a right time, and you just alluded to this. There's always the right time to do the right thing, and if you get out there and you promote a good message and you truly, genuinely give it hell every single day, your time will come. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, and that's the beauty about like what we do day to day on a physical level here at First Form is like being able to go through the journey is the entire sales strategy. Being able to look at somebody and understand that they can struggle and you're going to struggle. So when you start thinking about taking that first step and building your social online presence, understand that struggle is real. but your value is being able to help somebody in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, helping new people onboard into that struggle, because your value is going to be, I've been through that struggle. You understand what it's like, and therefore you can relate to that person. When you become unrelatable, i.e. the influencer who had it easy, the people who won the Powerball, they were the hottest chicks on the internet at the right time, that's not a relatable proposition. So for you to start today and build that relatable proposition will bring you value long term. Just anchor in, enjoy the journey, and understand it. That journey that journey that you go through today is what you will be selling in the future.
Be yourself. It's your greatest strategic advantage over anybody else, plus your theorem. But if you add being yourself to the practical stuff.
You remember the other day when you asked me if I knew what that word meant?
Yeah.
Vaughn asked me if I knew what theorem meant.
Well, I'm not a math guy.
I'm not either, but
so
fuck,
I didn't
dude,
really know what it meant.
If you get to be as old as me and you don't know what theorem means, there's something wrong with you.
Well,
I don't know. So
you don't know what theorem is?
Nope.
Well, go listen to one of the old podcasts.
I don't.
You don't know what a theorem is?
It's a theory,
I know what a
only
theory.
It's spelled with M at the end, I think.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
No,
You know
but
what?
seriously, I really do think it's cliche and it sounds cheesy, but it's be yourself, be authentically yourself.
Dude, you know what? Just start using some shit that isn't your fucking looks.
Yeah.
How about that? What else you got? What else you got? Because that's really what it is. What else you got? That's what's going to get you paid.
I'm with you on that.
What else you got?
Yeah.
Yes, you're attractive. Yes, you're rich. Yes, you fucking have a Lamborghini. What else you got?
Well, it's a good indication too on like what are you actually doing in your life? Are you just taking pictures all fucking day?
People want to know, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like, as insignificant as like doing a... Dude, you know what's funny? Is it as insignificant as some of my snaps I think are, because I see them every day? They're the ones that get the most response. Like when I walk through the warehouse and I show the dudes, or I clown on the guys, or we make a joke, or like I show us breaking down a meeting, or that's the shit that I see every day. But that's also the shit that makes people most interested, because they don't see it every day. And that's what you have to understand. It's just because you're used to it. Just because you're used to taking a protein shake, or going to the gym, or fucking walking your dog, or hanging out with Tony, or whatever it is the fuck you do. Just because you do that shit every day doesn't mean it's not interesting to everybody else, right? And just because you know, people want to know. They're tired of the finished product. They want to know the fucking recipe. You know what I mean? It's a different game, man. We're moving into a different era. And the people who are going to make big money and have success are going to do exactly what Sal just said. And that's it. It's changing. No matter what anyone says, or no matter what anyone sells you, no matter what anyone tries to tell you, social media is paying, and is going to pay, and going to cause far more income to come into your life when you go deep and show people who you are, and create vulnerability, and create real connection. The idea of just posting cool shit and leaving it at that is done. It's fucking done. People want to know the recipe. What's the recipe? The recipe is all the shit that you do on a daily basis that gets you to where you are at your final product. The posts are your movie. The story is the B-roll. Use it to be effective. Use it to help people. Use it to answer questions. Use it to fucking create real value. People are tired of just looking at you. No matter how attractive you are, no matter how ripped your muscles are or your abs are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how big your titties are, people are fucking tired of just that. And they're looking for something more. And the people who move to give more are going to be the ones that get paid more. And that's the fucking fact.